All right, guys. This is your boy Mullah. This week got that file. Let's do a brain check. Let's see where people brains at. Let's do a brain check. Let's see where your brains at. Let's do a brain check. Let's see where your brains at. This is called the Mandela effect. I don't know if y'all people believe this, but this is kind of to me, but it's really not because hey, so many people sleep. Here we go.
We did do a version of this already. We're just adding more entries. It's time to bring her in, George! Number 20. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful
Your
day in the
childhood might
neighborhood.
not look the same after this. As we all know good and well, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood always began with its titular host singing its theme song.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
This much is true. But that well-known opening line, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood," not so much. Although it doesn't scan quite as well, it's actually
Hold up, wait a minute.
a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
Yep.
But how did we all miss this when we've heard the song so many times in our youth?
It's one hell of a day in my neighborhood, a hell of a day for a neighbor.
It could be worse,
How
I
did he
suppose.
get that wrong?
It's not like he was wearing leather jackets instead
I
of cardigan
remember
sweaters
it's
this
a
whole time.
beautiful day
Number
in the
19,
neighborhood.
Fruit of the Loom's logo. Fruit of the Loom is a clothing company
I
renowned
remember
the world over.
the little
Its logo is similarly
cone
famous,
thing being
showing fruit
behind
spilling out of a
that.
cornucopia.
The
Or at least that's
cornucopia.
what many of us remember it as being.
I remember
In fact, the logo doesn't contain a cornucopia at all.
See, that
Okay,
look like
so
some
maybe an old logo has it,
Batman
right?
signal.
Nope.
No, it
Versions of
was
the
a
logo
corn
dating
back
back
there.
over 100 years lack the cornucopia too. So why do so many people associate a cornucopia with Fruit of the Loom?
Because the world
Even
is
parodies
crazy.
and references
A
to
little
the Fruit
bit
of the Loom logo contain cornucopias, but
crazy.
not the genuine article.
A little bit
Number
crazy.
18, the Monopoly Man's Monocle. The board game Monopoly features a memorable mascot named Rich Uncle Pennybags,
Uncle
also known as the
Pennybags.
Monopoly Man or Mr. Monopoly. He's famous for his suit, top hat, and large mustache. However, people are divided on whether or not he wears
I
a
remember
monocle.
him having a
Reality
pinnacle.
seems to favor that he doesn't, but our memories of this childhood game can't be
I
false,
remember
right?
that.
Ace Ventura, pet detective, and you must be the Monopoly guy.
See?
Heck, even Ace Ventura made the
In the
mistake.
90s.
And he seems like he's
That's
got a
the
good head on his
90s,
shoulders.
guys.
Could it be as simple as conflating the Monopoly Man with other rich fat cat mascots like Mr. Peanut? Or has someone bought up all our memories?
See,
Number
get
17,
that out of here.
Sex in the City. This much-loved HBO show and subsequent movies
Sex
follow
in
a
the
group of
city.
4 women and their love
That's
lives in
what
New
it
York
was.
City.
Sex
I didn't feel a
in the
thing. It was
city.
like, hey babe, gotta
Sex
go.
in
Text
the-
later,
let's
and I
have some sex
completely
in the
forgot
city,
about him after
okay?
that. But are you
Sex
sure that
in
that
the
isn't just because he
city.
didn't call you?
However, strangely, there is some disagreement
Sex
on what
in the
its title
City.
is. Although some would swear up and down it's called Sex in the City, its title is actually Sex and the City. Now, the easy explanation is that people tend to slur the word "and" a lot,
Tricking
so that
us,
Sex
man.
and the City becomes Sex in the City.
Really?
However,
I'm too
there
hip for
also
that.
seems to be plenty of merch and newspaper headlines bearing the
You
word
ain't
"in"
gonna
instead
trick
of "and." So what gives? Did reality go out for too many drinks with the girls? Number 16, Lucy has some splaining to do. I Love Lucy is a classic
Lucy,
sitcom and among
you
the most
got
influential
some
TV shows of
explaining
all
to
time.
do.
It's Ricky. Hi, Ricky.
Hi,
That's
Rick.
what I remember.
What's going on here? Why'd you slam the door in their face?
Lucy's
Lucy, you
husband on the
got
show,
some
Ricky Ricardo,
explaining to
played by
do.
real-life husband Desi Arnaz, had a particularly memorable catchphrase. Lucy, you've got some splaining to do.
That's what I
Did he?
thought.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
See?
While Ricky frequently said the word "splain" in various contexts, he never says this exact quote, despite the supposed line being cited all over pop culture.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
See?
It could just be a summation of Ricky's frustration with Lucy's antics distilled into a catchphrase that never was.
Right. Come on, man. Come on, people.
Hey, check this out.
$5.5 grand. Number 15, Oscar Mayer versus Oscar Mayer. An American
So-
meat company, Oscar Mayer has remained a fixture of pop culture thanks to its recognizable logo, famous Wienermobile, and several catchy jingles.
I don't eat
But
this,
its
y'all,
name is
so
a source of some
I think it
consternation,
was
as a lot of people remember
Mayer.
Meyer being spelled with an E instead of an A.
Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be.
Old news clippings can even be seen spelling it Meyer. So is it just a case of the alternate spelling being more common, leading to misspellings?
My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Mayer.
You'd think with one of its jingles having lyrics literally spelling out the company's name, though, it would be impossible to get it wrong. But there are those who swear the lyrics have changed since they were younger. Number 14, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. In this seminal Disney animated film, the villainously vain queen famously possesses a magic mirror. To call on it, she says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Except that's not the line in the Disney movie.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
In Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the queen says, "Magic mirror on the wall." This is a strange case because the original fairy tale has her say "mirror, mirror." It's just the Disney version that's different.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, is this not the most perfect kingdom of them all?
This could simply be a case where people are conflating the fairy tale and the Disney film, but even so, it's odd that something as popular and well-known as Snow White wouldn't be better remembered.
Beat it.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Number 13, Curious George's Tale. Curious George is a monkey and the star of many children's books and
I
television
remember him
series.
having a tail.
Hey, George. Perfect kite flying weather, huh?
He had a
Given
tail.
how long the character's been around, many are surprised to realize that he doesn't have a tail. After all, George is a monkey, and most monkeys have tails. Apes generally don't, by the way, and Curious George is repeatedly referred to as a monkey. Could the common confusion between the two sets of primates be the root of this Mandela effect? Or has reality changed the features of George's posterior?
No.
Whatever the case, we are certainly
George had a
curious to
tail.
find out. Number 12, Mona Lisa's Smile.
She ain't never
The
smiled.
Mona Lisa is arguably the most famous painting in the world and has been discussed and dissected for half a millennium. From the strange phenomenon of her eyes appearing to follow you to her enigmatic smile. However, for some, the latter is especially mysterious, since there are many who claim that she didn't used to be smiling at all.
No.
Granted, it might just be that those exposed to the painting at an early age got better at reading her expression. Still,
No.
that so many people could be confused about one of the most studied pieces of art ever made seems odd. Number 11, Hello, Clarice. When Dr.
Right,
Hannibal
that's
Lecter
what he
greets
said,
Agent Clarice
"Hello,
Starling from a
Clarice."
cell, a lot of us remember him saying, "Hello, Clarice," in that chilling tone. After all, that's the quote that everyone references all over pop culture.
Good evening, Clarice.
No.
Yet, in reality,
That's not
Dr.
what he
Lecter
said.
never says this quote in The Silence of the Lambs, even if he approximates it in the sequel.
Is this Clarice? Well, hello, Clarice.
He says good morning to her and even good evening, Clarice, but never that infamous quote. So, are people simply misquoting the film because hello works at all hours of the day?
No.
Or is there a more sinister explanation at work? Number 10, Pikachu's tail color. The adorable
Where
yellow,
is
red-cheeked
the
Pikachu acts as the mascot to the massive
tip?
multimedia Pokemon franchise. With its image plastered on practically everything Pokemon, you'd think that its features would be burned into the brains of generations of adults and kids alike. But there are those who are convinced that Pikachu's tail, like its ears, used to have black on the end.
It was.
Because of this misconception, there are plenty of images available that feature Pikachu with a black tail, so that could be to blame. Or maybe people are remembering something they were into as kids and are surprised when they revisit it as adults.
No.
Number
man.
9, Looney Tunes. We're getting to some deep cuts now.
It was tunes like cartoons. CARTOONS.
Looney Tunes is a franchise of Warner Brothers cartoons dating back to the early days of animation. Its characters are iconic to the medium and are practically as well known as those by rivals like Disney.
What's up, Doc?
But as famous as Looney Tunes is, there are some who believe its name's spelling is no longer the same. Some people remember its name as being Toons, Toons, as in cartoons, while the current spelling appears to be Tunes, Tunes, as in a synonym for music.
Oh, you treacherous trickster.
The fact that its sister series is called Merry Melodies lends some weight to the musical spelling, and the fact that the words are homophones does mean confusion would be easy. Still, stranger things, right? Number 8.
No.
Tinkerbell writing the Disney logo.
Walt Disney's Disneyland.
Right? She been writing the logo.
Considering how big Disney is, they sure have a lot of us misremembering their properties. During a lot of Disney animated features, the introduction usually features the Disney logo, with its iconic castle and the name in distinctive loopy handwriting. However, many fans seem to recall the character Tinkerbell from Peter Pan appearing in these intros.
Right.
No. No.
Tinkerbell.
Although Tinkerbell has appeared in several variants of this sequence, a lot of us remember her using her wand to write out the word Disney before dotting the I with sparks. Despite many similar versions, none of them quite
No
get at the way
wand?
it's described.
Yeah,
Ain't got no wand?
Chalk this one up to magic?
Ain't got
Number
no
7.
wand.
Play it again, Sam. As one of the titans of cinema, Casablanca has a host of memorable lines from
this one.
He's looking at you, kid.
to
Oh, here's
What about
looking
us?
at you, kid.
We'll always have Paris.
yet one of its most quoted is never actually spoken in the movie.
Here's looking
The
at
line,
you,
"Play it
kid.
again, Sam," a directive to the piano player to play as time goes by, is often associated with Humphrey Bogart's character Rick, yet he never says the words.
Play it.
Hmm?
Yes, boss.
A few lines come close, but the exact phrase is not in the movie. It could be that in the pre-home video days, people just misremember the line. But still, you'd think a film buff like Woody Allen would know it, and he named a movie after a misquote. Number 6. Beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up,
This
Scotty.
line is
That's
as synonymous
exactly
with
what I
Star Trek
remember.
as live long and
Beam me
prosper.
up,
It's just a
Scotty.
little weird that no one in the show or films ever actually says it.
Scotty, beam me up.
Most often attributed to Captain Kirk, this exact
Beam me
phrase is
up,
not
Scotty.
spoken by anyone in the franchise. Although, in fairness, similar wordings like the Voyage Home Scotty Beam Me Up were used from time to time.
Well, beam me up, Slappy.
See?
That's Scotty, sir.
Geek test.
Busted.
But
Beam
why
me
does
up,
this
Scotty.
misattribution have the omnipresence of Q? Do people just like the sound of it? Did someone tamper with our timeline? Or did a transporter accident send some of us into a mirror universe?
Beam me
Number
up,
5. Nelson
Scotty.
Mandela's death. This is the memory
to me,
that gives the Mandela effect its name.
He died.
South African President
in-
Nelson Mandela
when I
spent
was in
27
grammar
years
school
in
in the
prison before
90s.
being released in 1990. Or was he? A great number of people seem to remember Mandela dying in prison, and
That's what
reading
I
about
remember.
this fact in textbooks or seeing it on the news. Even Mandela's actual death in 2013 from a respiratory infection did little to quell the uneasy feeling in people's minds that something about the world or their minds had been altered. Number 4. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Life is
While
like
sitting
a
on a
box
park
of
bench and offering
chocolate.
candy to strangers,
You never know
Forrest
what
Gump
you're gonna
famously
get.
says that his mama always felt, quote, life was like a box of chocolates. It's an
No.
iconic phrase,
Life
but one we're
is.
likely all guilty of
My
misremembering.
life
Life
was.
is a box of chocolates, Forrest. You never know what you're gonna get.
In fact, his mama, and thus our simple hero, said that, quote, life is a box of chocolates. It's perfectly plausible that people have merely altered the quote to be more general, and thus give it more currency, but it's still strange that we all get the most memorable line in the movie wrong.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
See?
Mama doesn't say the quote like that in flashbacks. Number 3. Luke, I am your father.
your father.
The immortal line is more mortal than you'd think.
He told me you killed him. No,
No.
I am your father.
Bull. Straight bull. Mm-mm.
Everyone who's ever heard of Star Wars knows this quote. Yet in the actual film, Darth Vader says to Luke, "No, I am your father."
No, man.
Countless
They
pop culture
tripping, man.
references and legions of dedicated
I'm not
Star
finna
Wars
say-
fans still manage to somehow get this
Alright.
quote wrong.
Maybe
You
I'll
killed
be
my father.
crazy. I'm not finna be like the rest of these people in LA.
your father.
Ain't nothing going on.
So what's the deal? Have we all just misquoted it because Luke provides more context?
No,
Or have some
I
of
did
us
not
come to this
misquote
reality
it.
from far, far away?
Luke, I
I am your father.
This isn't the only Star Wars example of the Mandela effect either. Just check out C-3PO's leg sometime. Number 2. Starring Sinbad, Shazaam. Quick question.
Shazam.
Who starred
Ain't
in
no
the 90s
Sinbad
movie about
against
a genie?
Shazam, man.
Some of us correctly recall it
Shazam.
being NBA star Shaquille O'Neal, who had a sporadic movie career throughout the 90s. However, Others believe the star of the
Shazam,
film in
like
question
Biz
was the
Markie,
comedian and actor Sinbad, who
music
starred in
thing,
a number
oh
of children's
baby,
films during that
you.
same time period.
Racism! That's what Jesse Jackson was talking about.
Others also believe this non-existent film starring Sinbad was called Shazaam rather than Kazam, which they claim is something else entirely. Are people conflating multiple movies in their minds? If only we had a genie to magically solve this mystery.
Shaq.
Before we
Kazam.
continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest.
Well, they all have it. It's the Mandela effect. I say the world is gone crazy. Leave comments down below. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And I'll be back with another one. And I'm out of here.